Welcome back to Wieldy's Garage and welcome back to Coyote Swapping my Foxbody. Today, I'm installing the rear suspension. Here we go. So what I have here is J&M Products lower and upper control arms, non-adjustable, that utilize these spherical style bushings. I also got SVE, I believe 2-inch lowering springs with some new isolators. And then moving over here, Strange Engineering, adjustable rear shock, and finally, quad shock. New ones, not sure if I'm gonna run those yet. There's a lot of back and forth on the internet as to whether you actually need to run these if you upgrade the rear suspension. But I think what it's gonna come down to is if the rear tire will allow me to use those quad shocks, I'll use them if I can. If I can't, then whatever, not too worried about it. But anyway, I'm going to get started on not removing the rear suspension. I'm actually going to start with installing these bushings. It's kind of late at night and I don't want to make a bunch of noise. I could use hand tools, but it's the 21st century. I'm not going to use hand tools if I don't have to. I'll just do it tomorrow. But anyway, let's get these bushings installed. Alright, got the last bushing here. And the way they want you to install these is to get one of the ends of the bushing, the ball here, or whatever you call it, and then one of the pins, throw it in, press it in. Got to kind of line it up, the bushing here, so it doesn't get cut on the edge. Maybe press it in. Some of them I could get them pushed in by hand, but most of them ended up like this, where there's a gap. And then right down here, I just got a block of wood, some hammers. And I've just been hitting it like this, so I can get that ball in the center of the control arm here. So I just do it till this edge bushing is flush against the control arm. So this is about where I get when I press in those bushings with the hammer. And then once I put this metal sleeve in, the bushings start to separate. Well, hang on. Bushings all the way in now. As you can see, the end bushings here, or the middle sleeve is all the middle sleeve is all the way in now. As you can see, it pushed out the two bushings to the side here. But when I don't have that middle sleeve in, the end bushings here are flush against the actual control arm. So not sure what that's all about, but I think it'll be okay. I think I'll be able to just smush these bushings together, kind of love tap this control arm into the spot where it needs to go, and it should be just fine once I tighten down the bolt. So that's it for all of these guys. As you can see, they all have that gap on all of them. So bushings installed. I'm going to move on to the back here and start removing all of the rear suspension, starting with the sway bar. I've got everything out on the driver's side. lower control arm, upper control arm, quad shock, coil spring, sway bar. I actually didn't get everything out. I can still need to get this strut out. I'm gonna have to go through the top tomorrow. Oh, maybe I can. All right. Well, maybe I'll get that out tonight. But I don't know. This is the first side I'm doing this on, so I was kind of figuring it out as I went. I took out the rearmost bolt for the lower control arm first, but I should have took out that front one first so it can swing down and the spring would have enough room to come out when I lowered the jack. No big deal. I just had to do a bunch of other stuff to get the spring out so it didn't spring out and hit me. But yeah, so other side, I'll show you guys more in depth. I'll do it tomorrow because it's 10 o'clock at night. Neighbors are already coming over here. Hey, my kids can't sleep. Whatever. Anyway, this is where I'm going to stop for tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to show you guys how to get all this stuff out. And then we'll install the new stuff. We're back. It's the next day. And I got the whole other side, the driver's side, all wrapped up over here. I'm not going to show you too much because you've probably just seen it, but there's your little sneak peek. I don't know how much of that side you guys actually saw. I was kind of trying to figure it out while I was doing it over there, so the footage probably wasn't the best. So on this side, I'm gonna pretty much show you guys how I did it and how I kind of figured the best way to remove all of this. And it's pretty much going to start with removing quad shock, your rear shock, the upper control arm over there, and then the back bolts to these to the lower control arm. That's going to be the best way to do it, in my opinion, from what I learned on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. All of the bolts are pretty much 18 millimeters. All four of the bolts for the upper and lower control arms are going to be 18 mil, and nuts. Bolts and nuts are going to be 18 mil. The bolt here for your quad shock is 18 mil. This one on this end is actually going to be 15 mil. That nut does not move. That is welded to this bracket here, so don't try to take that off. But if yours is broken, I believe it's a 21 mil. And then this, I don't even have the cover off. The bolt for the top shock here. That's probably going to vary depending on if your shocks have been replaced, which most likely your shocks have been replaced. In my case, they were a 17 mil, so use that information as you will. But like I said, I'm going to take out both shocks, upper control arm and the rear bolts for the lower control arm, throw the jack under there, and then let that spring down nice and easy. Here we go. come on.
Fat.
All right, there you have it. Upper, lower control arm, quad shock, coil spring, regular shock, all out. Now we're ready to go in with the new stuff. So I'm just gonna go, so I'm just gonna put it in exactly opposite of what I just did to take it out. So I'm gonna start with this lower control arm here, put the forwardmost end in first, jack it up, put the spring in, which I thought I had over here. Nope, still over there. Put this spring in, and then throw in, the upper control arm, the new shock, new quad shock. I got the passenger side suspension on here. The only thing I haven't done is tighten everything up. Besides the sway bar here, I did get that tightened up. I did put the parking brake bracket on both sides. You guys probably saw that. But I still need to tighten down the actual lower, upper control arms, quad shock, and the actual rear shock. It's getting kind of late. I'm not going to show you on camera. It's just tightening some bolts. But both sides are done. And yeah. The only thing I didn't do, and I didn't know this kit didn't come with it, but the actual bushings for the axle that go right here, I did not replace because I didn't know that the kit that I got did not come with those bushings, which, whatever at this point. I don't think they'll be here in time to make the video. But yeah, I am going to replace those. I believe they're just like the regular, you know, there we go. They're just going to be bushings like this, except for, you know, large enough to fit the hole. I believe I'm going to have to leave the sleeve for the bushing that's already installed on the axle. I'm just going to have to drill out the rubber, clean that up, leave that bushing in, and then it'll be that style of bushing here. Two ends, they'll just slide in, metal sleeve in the middle. So I believe that's all that those are. I don't think they have like a spherical style like I showed earlier in the video, in the beginning of the video, of that ball and then the two end caps there. So anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this video. That's really the last thing besides an actual drive shaft to get this car on the road. Actually, I need to seal up the diff, but that's whatever. I'm waiting on the gasket to get here, and then I've got gear fluid up there, so that's nothing but a thing. Easy as that, filling up, put this gasket back. Blech. Easy as putting the gasket on, the cover on, and then filling it up. But anyway, drive shaft, that's the last thing I need to get this thing actually driving on the road. Everything else is done. Yeah, there's nothing else to do at this point. Well, besides putting the dash in. So that'll probably be this upcoming video. I guess I'll spill the beans now. I got a Dakota digital dash, and it's pretty sweet, so I'm gonna have to figure out how all that works, set it up, and then yeah, we'll have a gauge cluster, and then oh, exhaust and subframe connectors. I'm just gonna bring that somewhere to get that done. Not even sure what mufflers I'm gonna run, but I do have a catted, high flow catted X pipe that I want to run, which is right here. I was gonna bolt it up, but the flanges up here aren't wide enough to fit the exhaust I have. I think that's probably for a 6R80, not a 10R80. But anyway, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if the 6R80s are a little bit narrower than the 10R80s, but that's kind of what it seems like to me. So I'm going to try to take that to an exhaust shop and see if they can just spread it out a little bit and then make it work. But anyway, yeah, rear suspension done. Check that off the list. And now we're just down to those last few items that I mentioned: drive shaft, dash, subframe connectors, exhaust, diff cover. Yeah, it's all gonna go pretty quick. Once that dash is in, hopefully the drive shaft will be here and I'll be able to drive it. So anyway, I'm just talking in circles now. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will catch you on the next